How to grow Nyphophia ruperi. Nyphophia ruperi, also known as red-hot poker, is a plant that is easy to grow and can add a splash of color to your garden. Here are some tips on how to grow Nyphophia ruperi. Choose the right location. Nyphophia ruperi prefers full sun but can tolerate some shade. It also likes well-drained soil that is rich in organic matter. Plant the bulbs. Plant the Nyphophia ruperi bulbs in the spring or fall. The bulbs should be planted at a depth of about 4 inches and spaced about 18 inches apart. Water regularly. Nyphophia ruperi needs regular watering, especially during hot and dry weather. However, it is important not to overwater, as this can cause the bulbs to rot. Fertilize. You can fertilize Nyphophia ruperi with a balanced fertilizer once a month during the growing season. Mulch. Mulching around the plants can help retain moisture and keep weeds at bay. Prune. Remove any dead leaves or flowers to keep the plant looking neat and to encourage new growth. Divide. Nyphophia ruperi can be divided every 3 to 4 years to prevent overcrowding and promote healthier growth. Dig up the bulbs and gently separate them into smaller clumps, making sure each clump has some roots attached. Replant the divided clumps in a new location or back in their original spot with fresh soil and compost. Protect from frost. Nyphophia ruperi is hardy to USDA zones 5 to 9 but may need protection from frost in colder areas. You can cover the plants with frost cloth or move container-grown plants indoors during freezing weather. Pests and diseases. Nyphophia ruperi is generally not bothered by pests or diseases. However, watch out for snails and slugs that may eat the leaves, and remove any infected or dead plant parts promptly to prevent the spread of disease. Attract pollinators. Nyphophia ruperi's bright, tubular flowers attract hummingbirds and bees, making it a great addition to pollinator gardens. By planting Nyphophia ruperi, you can help support local pollinators and promote a healthy ecosystem. Companion planting. Nyphophia ruperi can be paired with other plants that complement its color and texture, such as echinacea, sedum, and ornamental grasses. Companion planting can also help deter pests and provide additional benefits to the soil. Deadheading. Removing spent flowers or seed heads can encourage the plant to produce more blooms and prevent self-seeding. Cut the flower stalks back to the base of the plant once the flowers have faded. Winter care. In colder climates, Nyphophia ruperi may require some additional winter care to survive. Before the first frost, cut back the foliage to a few inches above the ground and cover the plant with a layer of mulch to insulate the bulbs. Alternatively, you can dig up the bulbs and store them in a cool, dry place until spring. Watering in the summer. In hot and dry weather, Nyphophia ruperi may require more frequent watering to prevent the soil from drying out. Water deeply and thoroughly, making sure the water reaches the roots. Soil phone. Nyphophia ruperi prefers slightly acidic to neutral soil with a pH between 6.0 and 7.0. If your soil is too alkaline, you can amend it with organic matter or sulfur to lower the pH. Container gardening. Nyphophia ruperi can also be grown in containers, which allows you to move the plant to a more suitable location or protect it from extreme weather conditions. Choose a container with good drainage and use a high-quality potting mix. Harvesting seeds. If you want to propagate Nyphophia ruperi, you can harvest the seeds from the plant in the fall. Wait until the flowers have faded and the seed heads have dried out on the plant. Cut off the seed heads and place them in a paper bag to dry further. Once the seed heads have fully dried, shake them gently to release the seeds. Store the seeds in a cool, dry place until you are ready to plant them in the spring. Using Nyphophia ruperi in floral arrangements, the vibrant flowers of Nyphophia ruperi can be used in floral arrangements, adding a pop of color and texture to bouquets and centerpieces. Cut the flowers just as they begin to open and place them in a vase with fresh water. Propagating by division. As Nyphophia ruperi grows, it may become overcrowded and need to be divided. To propagate the plant through division, dig up the clump of bulbs and use a sharp knife to cut it into smaller sections. Making sure each section has at least one healthy shoot and a portion of the root system. Replant the divisions in a new location or back in their original spot with fresh soil and compost. By following these additional tips, you can ensure the health and longevity of your Nyphophia ruperi and create a beautiful and sustainable garden. How to grow Peonia lactiflora Sarah Bernhardt. Peonia lactiflora Sarah Bernhardt is a popular herbaceous perennial plant known for its large and fragrant pink flowers. Here are some general tips on how to grow this plant. Soil. Peonia lactiflora prefers well-draining, fertile soil that is slightly acidic. Amend heavy soils with compost or other organic matter to improve drainage. Sunlight. The plant requires full sun to partial shade. In warmer climates, it may benefit from some shade during the hottest part of the day. Water. Keep the soil consistently moist but not waterlogged. Water deeply once or twice a week, depending on the weather and soil conditions. Fertilizer. Fertilize the plant in early spring with a balanced fertilizer, and then again in midsummer with a phosphorus-rich fertilizer to encourage flower production. Mulch. Apply a layer of organic mulch around the plant to help retain moisture in the soil and suppress weed growth. Pruning. Cut back the plant after the flowering period has ended to encourage new growth for the next season. Deadhead spent blooms to encourage more flowering. Winter care. The plant is hardy and can withstand cold temperatures, but in areas with harsh winters, it may benefit from a layer of mulch or other protection over the roots to prevent frost damage. By following these tips, you should be able to successfully grow Peonia lactiflora Sarah Bernhardt and enjoy its beautiful blooms year after year. Planting. Peonia lactiflora Sarah Bernhardt can be planted in the fall or spring. How to grow Paris polyphylla. Paris polyphylla, also known as the Himalayan Paris or the false hellebore, is a herbaceous perennial plant that is native to the Himalayan regions of Asia. It is commonly grown for its attractive foliage and unique, star-shaped flowers. Here are some tips on how to grow Paris polyphylla. Soil. Paris polyphylla prefers well-draining, loamy soil that is rich in organic matter. The soil should be kept moist but not waterlogged. Light. Paris polyphylla thrives in partial to full shade. It does not tolerate direct sunlight, so it is best to grow it under the shade of trees or in a shady part of the garden. Temperature and humidity. Paris polyphylla prefers cool temperatures and high humidity, making it an ideal plant for the temperate climates of the Himalayas. It can be grown in cooler regions with mild summers. Watering. Paris polyphylla requires consistent watering, especially during dry periods. Water the plant deeply once a week, or more frequently in hot, dry weather. Fertilization: apply a slow-release fertilizer in early spring to encourage healthy growth. Propagation: Paris polyphylla can be propagated by division in the spring or fall. Dig up the plant and separate the roots into several sections, each with a few stems and roots. Replant the sections in well-prepared soil. Pests and diseases: Paris polyphylla is relatively disease-resistant, but it may be susceptible to fungal infections in humid conditions. Watch for aphids and other common garden pests, and treat with an insecticidal soap or neem oil if necessary. Mulching: applying a layer of mulch around the base of the plant can help retain moisture and regulate soil temperature. Use a natural mulch such as bark, leaves or straw, and avoid piling it up around the stem of the plant. Pruning: Paris polyphylla does not require much pruning, but removing any dead or damaged leaves and stems can help improve its overall appearance. Prune back the plant to the ground in the fall after the foliage has died back. Overwintering: in areas with cold winters, Paris polyphylla may require some protection to survive. Apply a layer of mulch around the base of the plant and cover it with a layer of burlap or other breathable material. This will help protect the plant from freezing temperatures and windburn. Overall, Paris polyphylla is a relatively low-maintenance plant that can add unique texture and color to your garden. As with any plant, it is important to provide it with the proper growing conditions and care to help it thrive. Growing in containers: Paris polyphylla can also be grown in containers, making it a good option for those with limited garden space. Choose a pot that is at least 12 inches in diameter and fill it with a well-draining potting mix. Place the pot in a shady area and water regularly to keep the soil moist. Harvesting: Paris polyphylla has been used in traditional medicine for its medicinal properties, but it is important to note that the plant can be toxic if ingested in large amounts. Only use Paris polyphylla under the guidance of a qualified healthcare professional. The plant can be harvested in the fall when the foliage has died back, and the roots can be washed, dried, and stored for later use. Companion planting: Paris polyphylla can benefit from companion planting with other shade-loving plants such as ferns, hostas, and astilbes. This can help improve soil health and reduce pest and disease problems. Maintenance: to keep the plant healthy, remove any dead or yellowing leaves regularly. Watch for signs of pest or disease problems, and treat them promptly to prevent them from spreading. Division: over time, Paris polyphylla can become crowded and benefit from division. Divide the plant in the spring before new growth appears. Dig up the plant and gently separate the root mass into smaller sections, each with a few stems and roots. Replant the sections in well-prepared soil and water them deeply. Propagation from seed: Paris polyphylla can also be propagated from seed, but it can be a slow process. Sow the seeds in the fall or early spring in a well-draining potting mix. Keep the soil moist and place the pot in a shaded area. The seeds can take several weeks to germinate, and the resulting seedlings can be slow-growing. Avoiding damage: Paris polyphylla can be susceptible to damage from animals such as deer and rabbits, as well as from foot traffic. Protect the plant with fencing or netting, and avoid planting it in areas with heavy foot traffic. Uses. In addition to its ornamental value, Paris polyphylla has been used in traditional medicine for its anti-inflammatory, analgesic, and anti-tumor properties. However, it is important to use it only under the guidance of a qualified healthcare professional, as the plant can be toxic if ingested in large amounts. By following these tips, you can successfully grow and enjoy Paris polyphylla in your garden or container. With its unique foliage and beautiful flowers, it is sure to be a standout addition to any landscape. How to grow Penstemon digitalis Husker Red. Penstemon digitalis Husker Red is a hardy and easy-to-grow perennial plant that is native to North America. Here are some tips on how to grow this plant. Soil and sunlight requirements. The plant prefers well-draining soil that is rich in organic matter. It also requires full sun to partial shade to grow properly. Planting. The best time to plant the Penstemon digitalis Husker Red is in the spring or fall. Dig a hole that is twice the width of the root ball and place the plant in the hole. Backfill the hole with soil and water well. Watering. The plant requires moderate watering. Water the plant deeply once a week, especially during dry periods. Avoid overwatering, as it can lead to root rot. How to grow Salvia azurea. Salvia azurea, commonly known as blue sage, is a beautiful and easy-to-grow perennial plant that produces stunning blue flowers. Here are some tips on how to grow Salvia azurea. Choose the right location. Salvia azurea prefers a sunny location with well-draining soil. It can tolerate some shade, but too much shade may affect its growth and flowering. Plant at the right time. The best time to plant Salvia azurea is in the spring after the last frost. You can also plant it in the fall if you live in a mild climate. Prepare the soil. Salvia azurea prefers well-draining soil. If your soil is heavy or clay-like, you can amend it with compost or sand to improve drainage. Water regularly. Salvia azurea prefers moist soil, so water it regularly, especially during hot and dry weather. However, make sure not to overwater, as this can lead to root rot. Fertilize sparingly. Salvia azurea does not require much fertilization. You can apply a balanced fertilizer once in the spring and once in the summer to encourage healthy growth. Prune regularly. Pruning Salvia azurea regularly will help to promote bushier growth and encourage more flowers. Prune the plant back by about 1/3 after it has finished flowering. Mulch around the plant. Mulching around the base of the plant can help to retain moisture and keep the soil cool during hot weather. Divide the plant. Salvia azurea can become quite large over time, and dividing it every few years can help to rejuvenate the plant and promote better growth. You can divide the plant in the spring or fall by digging up the clump and separating it into smaller sections. Provide support. As the plant grows taller, it may require some support to prevent it from flopping over. You can use stakes or cages to provide support and keep the plant upright. Watch for pests and diseases. Salvia azurea is generally resistant to pests and diseases, but it can be affected by spider mites, aphids, and fungal diseases. Keep an eye out for any signs of pests or diseases and treat them promptly if necessary. Propagate the plant. Salvia azurea can be propagated from stem cuttings or by seed. If you want to propagate the plant by stem cuttings, take a 4 to 6 inch cutting from a healthy plant and remove the lower leaves. Dip the cut end into rooting hormone powder and plant it in moist soil. Keep the soil consistently moist and the cutting should root within a few weeks. If you want to propagate the plant by seed, collect the seed pods after the flowers have faded and the pods have turned brown. Plant the seeds in moist soil and keep them consistently moist until they germinate. Consider companion plants. Salvia azurea looks great when planted with other sun-loving perennials, such as coneflowers, black-eyed Susans, and bee balm. These plants will complement the blue flowers of Salvia azurea and create a beautiful and diverse garden. Enjoy the blooms. Salvia azurea blooms in late summer and early fall, and the blue flowers can attract butterflies and other pollinators to your garden. Be sure to enjoy the blooms and cut some for indoor arrangements if desired. Consider climate. Salvia azurea is native to the central and southeastern United States and thrives in hot, humid summers. It is cold hardy to USDA zones 5 to 9 and may not do well in areas with very cold winters or very dry summers. Make sure to choose a location and planting time that is appropriate for your climate. Deadhead spent blooms. To encourage more blooms and prevent the plant from self-seeding, deadhead the spent flowers regularly. This will redirect the plant's energy towards producing more flowers instead of producing seeds. Don't over-fertilize. While Salvia azurea benefits from occasional fertilization, it is important not to overdo it. Too much fertilizer can lead to excessive foliage growth at the expense of flowers. Stick to a light application of fertilizer in the spring and summer. Consider using it in naturalized areas. Salvia azurea has a somewhat wild and natural appearance and can be a great addition to meadows, prairies, and other naturalized areas. It can also be grown in large drifts for a stunning mass display of blue flowers. Monitor for drought stress. While Salvia azurea prefers moist soil, it can also tolerate periods of drought once established. However, if the plant is experiencing prolonged drought stress, its growth and flowering may be affected. Monitor the plant regularly during dry periods and water deeply as needed. Use as a cut flower. Salvia azurea makes an excellent cut flower with its long stems and stunning blue flowers. Cut the stems when the flowers are just beginning to open and place them in water immediately. Consider container gardening. Salvia azurea can also be grown in containers, which allows you to move the plant around to find the best location for optimal growth and flowering. Use a well-draining potting mix and ensure the container has drainage holes to prevent waterlogging. By considering these additional tips, you can create a successful and beautiful display of Salvia azurea in your garden, and enjoy its stunning blue blooms for years to come. How to grow Persicaria pink elephant. Persicaria pink elephant is a popular perennial plant known for its attractive pink flowers and easy growth habits. Here are some tips on how to grow and care for this plant. Sun and soil requirements. Persicaria pink elephant thrives in full sun to partial shade and well-drained, moist soil. It can tolerate a wide range of soil types, but prefers fertile, humus-rich soil. Watering. Regular watering is important to keep the soil moist, especially during hot and dry weather. However, make sure not to overwater as this can lead to root rot. Fertilizer. Persicaria pink elephant does not require heavy fertilization. You can apply a balanced fertilizer in the spring to promote healthy growth. Pruning. Deadheading the spent flowers can help prolong the blooming period. In the fall, you can cut back the plant to the ground to encourage new growth the following spring. Propagation. Persicaria pink elephant can be propagated by division in the spring or fall.
How to take care of tomato plants effectively. Tomatoes are one of the most popular vegetables to grow in a home garden. They are delicious, versatile, and relatively easy to grow. However, growing healthy, productive tomato plants require some care and attention. In this article, we will discuss some effective ways to care for your tomato plants and ensure a bountiful harvest. Planting. When planting tomato seeds or seedlings, choose a location with full sun exposure and well-drained soil. Tomato plants prefer a slightly acidic soil pH of around 6.0 to 6.8. Amend the soil with compost or aged manure to provide nutrients for the plants. Watering. Tomatoes need consistent watering to produce healthy fruit. Water deeply and regularly, at least once a week, to keep the soil evenly moist. Be careful not to overwater, as this can cause the roots to rot. Mulching around the plants can help to retain moisture in the soil and also suppress weeds. Fertilizing. Tomato plants require regular fertilization to produce healthy foliage and fruit. Use a balanced fertilizer with a ratio of October 10, 2010 or December 12, 2012 every 4 to 6 weeks. Alternatively, you can use organic fertilizers such as compost or worm castings. Pruning. Pruning tomato plants can help to improve air circulation, reduce the risk of disease, and promote fruit production. Remove any suckers or small branches that emerge from the main stem, and also remove any yellow or diseased leaves. Be careful not to prune too much, as this can reduce fruit production. Supporting. Tomato plants can become quite large and heavy, so it's important to support them with stakes or cages. This helps to prevent the plants from bending or breaking under the weight of the fruit. Stakes should be at least 6 feet tall and inserted at least 1 foot into the ground. Cages should be at least 3 feet tall and 1 to 2 feet in diameter. Pest and disease control. Tomato plants are susceptible to a variety of pests and diseases, including aphids, whiteflies, and tomato hornworms. Regular inspection of the plants can help to catch any problems early. Consider using natural pest control methods such as companion planting, neem oil, or insecticidal soap. Additionally, proper spacing and pruning can help to prevent the spread of disease. Harvesting. Tomatoes are ready to harvest when they are fully ripened and have reached their mature color. Gently twist the tomato to detach it from the stem, or use a sharp pair of scissors to cut the stem. Tomatoes can be stored at room temperature, but should not be refrigerated as this can affect the flavor and texture. Temperature and humidity. Tomatoes prefer warm temperatures and moderate humidity. They grow best in temperatures between 70 to 85 degrees Fahrenheit during the day and 60 to 70 degrees Fahrenheit at night. If temperatures get too hot, the plants may drop their blossoms, reducing fruit production. If temperatures get too cold, the plants may become stunted and stop growing. Additionally, high humidity can lead to fungal diseases, so it's important to ensure good air circulation around the plants. Crop rotation. To prevent soil-borne diseases and pests, it's important to rotate your tomato plants every year. Do not plant tomatoes in the same location where they were grown the previous year. Instead, rotate them to a different part of the garden where no other members of the nightshade family, such as peppers or eggplants, have been grown recently. Troubleshooting. If your tomato plants are not producing fruit or are showing signs of stress, there may be underlying issues that need to be addressed. Check for pests or disease, and make sure the plants are getting enough water and nutrients. Additionally, some varieties of tomatoes may require more or less care than others, so it's important to choose a variety that is well suited to your specific growing conditions. Tomato varieties. Choosing the right tomato variety for your growing conditions and preferences can also play a role in the success of your tomato plants. There are many different types of tomatoes, including cherry, beefsteak, paste, and heirloom varieties. Consider factors such as flavor, size, disease resistance, and growing requirements when selecting a tomato variety. Consistent care. Consistent care is key to growing healthy tomato plants. This includes regular watering, fertilizing, and pruning as needed. Keep an eye on the plants and make adjustments as necessary to ensure that they are thriving. Neglecting your tomato plants can result in stunted growth, reduced fruit production, and increased susceptibility to pests and disease. Soil testing. Testing your soil can help you determine if your tomato plants are getting the nutrients they need. A soil test can reveal the pH level, nutrient content, and organic matter content of your soil. Based on the results, you can adjust your fertilization and soil amendment practices to ensure that your tomato plants are getting the proper nutrients. Mulching. Mulching around your tomato plants can help to retain moisture in the soil, suppress weeds, and regulate soil temperature. Use a layer of organic mulch such as straw, grass clippings, or shredded leaves around the base of the plants. Avoid using plastic mulch, as it can trap moisture and lead to fungal diseases. Harvesting and storing. Proper harvesting and storing techniques can help to extend the shelf life of your homegrown tomatoes. Harvest tomatoes when they are fully ripe but still firm, and handle them carefully to avoid bruising or crushing. Store tomatoes at room temperature and away from direct sunlight. Avoid refrigerating tomatoes, as this can cause them to lose flavor and texture. Companion planting. Companion planting involves growing certain plants together that have beneficial effects on each other. For example, planting basil or marigolds near tomato plants can help to repel pests and improve flavor. Additionally, planting beans or peas near tomato plants can help to improve soil quality by fixing nitrogen. Season extension. If you live in a cooler climate, you may need to extend the growing season for your tomato plants in order to ensure a full harvest. Plants susceptible to pests and diseases and how to prevent them. Growing plants can be a rewarding and fulfilling hobby, but it can also be frustrating when your plants fall victim to pests and diseases. Certain plants are more susceptible to pests and diseases than others, and it's important to understand how to prevent and treat these issues in order to keep your plants healthy and productive. In this article, we will explore some of the most common plants that are prone to pests and diseases, as well as some tips for preventing and treating these issues. Tomatoes. Tomatoes are one of the most popular garden plants, but they are also one of the most susceptible to pests and diseases. Common tomato pests include aphids, whiteflies, and spider mites, while common tomato diseases include blossom end rot and tomato blight. To prevent these issues, choose disease-resistant tomato varieties, practice good sanitation by removing any diseased plant material, and use natural pest control methods such as companion planting or insecticidal soap. Roses. Roses are a beloved garden plant, but they are also notorious for their susceptibility to pests such as aphids, thrips, and spider mites. Common rose diseases include black spot, powdery mildew, and rust. To prevent these issues, choose disease-resistant rose varieties, practice good sanitation by removing any diseased plant material, and use natural pest control methods such as neem oil or insecticidal soap. Squash. Squash plants are prone to pests such as squash bugs and cucumber beetles, as well as diseases such as powdery mildew and downy mildew. To prevent these issues, choose disease-resistant squash varieties, use row covers to protect plants from pests, and practice good sanitation by removing any diseased plant material. Cucumbers. Cucumbers are another popular garden plant that are susceptible to pests such as cucumber beetles and diseases such as powdery mildew. To prevent these issues, choose disease-resistant cucumber varieties, use row covers to protect plants from pests, and practice good sanitation by removing any diseased plant material. Beans. Bean plants are susceptible to pests such as aphids and bean beetles, as well as diseases such as bacterial blight and rust. To prevent these issues, choose disease-resistant bean varieties, practice good sanitation by removing any diseased plant material, and use natural pest control methods such as companion planting or insecticidal soap. Peppers. Peppers are prone to pests such as aphids and whiteflies, as well as diseases such as blossom end rot and bacterial spot. To prevent these issues, choose disease-resistant pepper varieties, practice good sanitation by removing any diseased plant material, and use natural pest control methods such as companion planting or insecticidal soap. Apples. Apple trees are susceptible to pests such as codling moths and apple maggots, as well as diseases such as apple scab and fire blight. To prevent these issues, choose disease-resistant apple varieties, practice good sanitation by removing any diseased plant material, and use natural pest control methods such as pheromone traps or insecticidal soap. Citrus trees. Citrus trees are prone to pests such as scale insects and mealybugs, as well as diseases such as citrus greening and black spot. To prevent these issues, choose disease-resistant citrus varieties, Practice good sanitation by removing any diseased plant material. And use natural pest control methods such as neem oil or insecticidal soap. Grapes. Grapevines are susceptible to pests such as Japanese beetles and grape phylloxera, as well as diseases such as powdery mildew and black rot. To prevent these issues, choose disease-resistant grape varieties. Practice good sanitation by removing any diseased plant material. And use natural pest control methods such as netting to protect grapes from birds and insects. Carrots. Carrot plants are susceptible to pests such as carrot rust flies and diseases such as leaf blight and cavity spot. To prevent these issues, choose disease-resistant carrot varieties, use row covers to protect plants from pests, and practice good sanitation by removing any diseased plant material. Brassicas. Brassica plants such as cabbage, broccoli, and cauliflower are susceptible to pests such as cabbage worms and diseases such as clubroot and black rot. To prevent these issues, choose disease-resistant brassica varieties, use row covers to protect plants from pests, and practice good sanitation by removing any diseased plant material. Blueberries. Blueberry bushes are prone to pests such as blueberry maggot flies and diseases such as mummy berry and leaf spot. To prevent these issues, choose disease-resistant blueberry varieties, practice good sanitation by removing any diseased plant material. And use natural pest control methods such as netting or pheromone traps. Strawberries. Strawberry plants are susceptible to pests such as slugs and diseases such as gray mold and verticillium wilt. To prevent these issues, choose disease-resistant strawberry varieties, use row covers to protect plants from pests, and practice good sanitation by removing any diseased plant material. Potatoes. Potato plants are prone to pests such as potato beetles and diseases such as late blight and scab. To prevent these issues, choose disease-resistant potato varieties, practice good sanitation by removing any diseased plant material. And use natural pest control methods such as row covers or insecticidal soap. Melons. Melon plants are susceptible to pests such as cucumber beetles and diseases such as powdery mildew and downy mildew. To prevent these issues, choose disease-resistant melon varieties, use row covers to protect plants from pests, and practice good sanitation by removing any diseased plant material. To prevent and treat pests and diseases in your garden, it's important to practice good sanitation. Choose disease-resistant plant varieties, and use natural pest control methods whenever possible. By staying vigilant and taking proactive measures, you can help to ensure that your garden plants stay healthy and productive throughout the growing season. Onions. Onion plants are prone to pests such as onion maggots and diseases such as white rot and downy mildew. To prevent these issues, choose disease-resistant onion varieties, use row covers to protect plants from pests, and practice good sanitation by removing any diseased plant material. Peaches. Peach trees are susceptible to pests such as peach tree borers and diseases such as brown rot and leaf curl. To prevent these issues, choose disease-resistant peach varieties, practice good sanitation by removing any diseased plant material. And use natural pest control methods such as dormant oil sprays or insecticidal soap. Lettuce. Lettuce plants are susceptible to pests such as aphids and diseases such as lettuce mosaic virus and bottom rot. To prevent these issues, choose disease-resistant lettuce varieties, Use row covers to protect plants from pests, and practice good sanitation by removing any diseased plant material. Radishes. Radish plants are prone to pests such as flea beetles and diseases such as clubroot and damping off. To prevent these issues, choose disease-resistant radish varieties, use row covers to protect plants from pests, and practice good sanitation by removing any diseased plant material. Beans. Bean plants are susceptible to pests such as bean beetles and diseases such as bacterial blight and rust. To prevent these issues, choose disease-resistant bean varieties, use row covers to protect plants from pests, and practice good sanitation by removing any diseased plant material. Spinach. Spinach plants are prone to pests such as leaf miners and diseases such as downy mildew and powdery mildew. To prevent these issues, choose disease-resistant spinach varieties, use row covers to protect plants from pests, and practice good sanitation by removing any diseased plant material. Learn about growing clean and safe vegetables for health. Growing your own food is not only a great way to save money and eat fresh, delicious produce, but it can also be a way to ensure that your food is safe and free of harmful chemicals. When you grow your own vegetables, you have control over what pesticides and fertilizers are used, and you can ensure that your food is grown using sustainable, environmentally friendly methods. In this article, we will explore some tips for growing clean and safe vegetables in your own garden. Choose organic seeds. When you are selecting seeds for your garden, look for organic options. Organic seeds are grown without the use of synthetic pesticides or fertilizers, and they are free from genetically modified organisms, GMOs. Soil testing. Before you begin planting, it's important to test your soil to determine its nutrient levels and pH balance. This will help you to determine what types of fertilizers or amendments are needed to ensure healthy plant growth. Use compost. Compost is a great natural fertilizer that can help to improve soil health and provide essential nutrients to your plants. You can make your own compost using food scraps, yard waste, and other organic materials, or you can purchase compost from a local supplier. Use natural pest control methods. Rather than relying on synthetic pesticides, try using natural pest control methods such as companion planting, crop rotation, and beneficial insects. For example, planting marigolds around your vegetables can help to repel pests, while ladybugs and lacewings can help to control aphids and other harmful insects. Water wisely. Overwatering your plants can lead to nutrient leaching and other issues, while underwatering can cause plants to wilt and die. To ensure proper hydration, water your plants deeply and infrequently, and avoid watering during the hottest part of the day. Harvest regularly. Harvesting your vegetables regularly can help to ensure that they stay healthy and productive. Be sure to pick fruits and vegetables as soon as they are ripe, and remove any diseased or damaged plant material to prevent the spread of pests and diseases. Practice crop rotation. Rotating your crops each year can help to prevent the buildup of soil-borne diseases and pests. Try to plant vegetables from different families in different areas of your garden each year. Avoid synthetic fertilizers. Synthetic fertilizers can be harmful to the environment and can lead to nutrient imbalances in your soil. Instead, try using natural fertilizers such as compost, bone meal, and blood meal. Wash your produce. Even if you grow your vegetables using organic methods, it's still important to wash them thoroughly before eating. This can help to remove any dirt, bacteria, or other contaminants that may be present on the surface of the produce. Use mulch. Mulching your vegetable garden can help to retain moisture in the soil and prevent weeds from growing. Organic mulches such as straw, leaves, or grass clippings can also provide additional nutrients to your plants as they break down. Practice integrated pest management, IPM. IPM is a sustainable approach to pest management that involves monitoring for pests. Identifying the pests and their life cycle, and using a combination of cultural, physical, and biological methods to control them. This approach can help to reduce the use of synthetic pesticides while still effectively controlling pests. Avoid chemical fertilizers. Chemical fertilizers can be harmful to the environment and can contribute to nutrient pollution in waterways. Instead, try using natural fertilizers such as compost, manure, or fish emulsion. Use raised beds. Raised beds can provide better drainage and aeration for your plants, and they can also help to reduce the risk of soil-borne diseases. They also make it easier to control the soil quality and nutrient levels. Plant cover crops. Cover crops are planted during the off-season and can help to improve soil health and fertility. They can also help to prevent soil erosion and suppress weeds. Be aware of the season. Different vegetables have different growing seasons, so be sure to plan your garden accordingly. Some vegetables, such as lettuce and spinach, prefer cooler temperatures and can be planted in the spring or fall, while others, such as tomatoes and peppers, prefer warmer temperatures and should be planted in the summer. Choose disease-resistant varieties. When selecting seeds or seedlings for your garden, look for varieties that are resistant to common diseases. This can help to reduce the risk of plant infections and improve overall plant health. Keep your garden clean. Regularly remove any debris or plant material from your garden to prevent the buildup of pests and diseases. This includes pruning dead or diseased plant material and removing any fallen fruit or vegetables from the ground. Rotate your crops. Crop rotation can help to prevent soil-borne diseases and nutrient depletion in the soil. Try to rotate your crops each year, planting different vegetables in different areas of your garden. Use natural pest repellents. Many natural substances can repel pests without the use of harmful chemicals. For example, planting garlic or chives near your vegetables can help to repel pests such as aphids, while sprinkling diatomaceous earth around your plants can help to control slugs and snails. Consider companion planting. Companion planting is the practice of planting certain plants together to benefit one another. For example, planting marigolds near tomatoes can help to repel pests, while planting beans near corn can help to fix nitrogen in the soil. Practice proper pruning. Pruning your vegetables can help to improve plant health and productivity. Be sure to remove any dead or diseased plant material, and prune your plants regularly to promote healthy growth. Use organic pest control sprays. If you do need to use a pest control spray, choose an organic option that is safe for the environment and your health. There are many natural pest control sprays available, such as neem oil or pyrethrin. Use natural weed control methods. Rather than using synthetic herbicides, try using natural weed control methods such as hand weeding or mulching. Boiling water or vinegar can also be used to kill weeds. Practice proper watering. Overwatering your plants can lead to nutrient leaching and other issues, while underwatering can cause plants to wilt and die. Be sure to water your plants deeply and infrequently, and avoid watering during the hottest part of the day. Learn about local pests and diseases. Different regions have different pest and disease issues, so it's important to learn about what pests and diseases are common in your area. This can help you to take proactive measures to prevent and treat these issues in your garden. Use natural fungicides. Fungal diseases can be a major issue for gardeners, but there are natural fungicides that can be used to control these diseases. For example, baking soda can be used to control powdery mildew, while copper sulfate can be used to control fungal diseases in tomatoes and potatoes. Consider crop diversity. Planting a variety of different vegetables in your garden can help to improve soil health and reduce the risk of pests and diseases. This is because different plants have different nutrient needs and attract different types of pests and beneficial insects.
How to water and keep plants moist in the dry season. Watering and keeping plants moist during the dry season can be a challenge for gardeners. Drought conditions can lead to stress, wilting, and even death of plants. In this article, we will explore some tips and techniques for watering and keeping your plants healthy and hydrated during the dry season. Water deeply. When you water your plants, it's important to water deeply and infrequently. This encourages the roots to grow deeper into the soil and helps the plants to better withstand periods of drought. Aim to water your plants to a depth of at least 6 inches. Water in the morning. Watering your plants in the morning can help to reduce water loss due to evaporation and allows the plants to absorb the water before the heat of the day sets in. Avoid watering your plants in the evening, as this can encourage the growth of fungal diseases. Mulch your plants. Mulching your plants with organic materials, such as straw or leaves, can help to retain moisture in the soil and prevent evaporation. This also helps to prevent the growth of weeds and can provide additional nutrients to your plants as the mulch breaks down. Use a drip irrigation system. Drip irrigation systems deliver water directly to the base of the plants, reducing water waste and ensuring that the plants receive a consistent supply of moisture. This is especially useful for larger gardens or areas that are difficult to water by hand. Group your plants. Grouping plants together based on their watering needs can help to conserve water and prevent overwatering or underwatering. For example, grouping plants that require frequent watering together can help to ensure that they receive the right amount of moisture. Use a rain barrel. Collecting rainwater in a barrel can provide a free and sustainable source of water for your plants. This can be especially useful during periods of drought when water supplies may be limited. Use drought-tolerant plants. Choosing plants that are adapted to drought conditions can help to reduce the amount of water needed to keep your garden healthy. Some examples of drought-tolerant plants include succulents, cacti, and many types of native plants. Monitor soil moisture. Regularly monitoring the moisture level of your soil can help to ensure that your plants are getting enough water. Use a soil moisture meter or simply check the soil by hand to determine when it's time to water. Use a watering can. Using a watering can allows you to target the water directly at the base of the plants, reducing water waste and ensuring that the plants receive the water they need. Avoid overwatering. Overwatering your plants can be just as damaging as underwatering them. Be sure to check the soil moisture level before watering and avoid watering too frequently or too much at once. Use a soaker hose. Soaker hoses deliver water directly to the base of the plants, reducing water waste and ensuring that the plants receive a consistent supply of moisture. This is especially useful for plants that are sensitive to overhead watering, such as tomatoes and peppers. Water container plants more frequently. Container plants often require more frequent watering than plants in the ground, as the soil in containers can dry out quickly. Check the soil moisture level regularly and water is needed to keep the soil moist but not waterlogged. Use a timer. Setting up a timer for your irrigation system can help to ensure that your plants receive water at the right time and in the right amount. This is especially useful for busy gardeners who may forget to water their plants regularly. Use a moisture-retaining gel. Moisture-retaining gel products can be added to the soil to help retain moisture and reduce the need for frequent watering. These products can be especially useful for plants that require consistent moisture, such as ferns and orchids. Choose the right watering method for each plant. Different plants have different watering needs, so it's important to choose the right watering method for each plant. For example, plants with shallow roots, such as lettuce and spinach, benefit from frequent watering with a sprinkler or hose. While plants with deep roots, such as tomatoes and peppers, benefit from deep, infrequent watering. Provide shade. Providing shade for your plants during the hottest part of the day can help to reduce water loss due to evaporation and prevent heat stress. This can be done by using shade cloth, planting tall plants nearby to provide shade, or by placing plants in a location that receives shade for part of the day. Water seedlings and transplants carefully. Seedlings and transplants are more sensitive to overwatering and underwatering than mature plants. Water them carefully, making sure to keep the soil moist but not waterlogged. Use a watering wand. A watering wand allows you to water plants gently and precisely, reducing water waste and ensuring that the water is delivered directly to the base of the plants. This is especially useful for delicate plants that are sensitive to overhead watering. Avoid watering during windy conditions. Watering during windy conditions can lead to water waste and uneven watering. Wait for calm conditions before watering your plants. Check your irrigation system regularly. Regularly check your irrigation system for leaks, clogs, and other issues that can lead to water waste or uneven watering. This will help to ensure that your plants receive the water they need to thrive. Water less frequently as temperatures cool. As temperatures begin to cool in the fall, plants require less water. Adjust your watering schedule accordingly to prevent overwatering and reduce water waste. Use a watering gauge. A watering gauge can help you determine how much water your plants are receiving and whether they are getting the right amount. This can be especially useful for plants that require consistent moisture, such as hydrangeas. Water deeply after fertilizing. Watering deeply after fertilizing can help to ensure that the nutrients are absorbed into the soil and reach the roots of your plants. This can help to promote healthy growth and prevent nutrient deficiencies. Use a rain sensor. Installing a rain sensor in your irrigation system can help to prevent overwatering and reduce water waste. The rain sensor will shut off your irrigation system when it detects rainfall, ensuring that your plants receive the right amount of water. Water less frequently as temperatures cool. As temperatures begin to cool in the fall, plants require less water. Water deeply after fertilizing. Watering deeply after fertilizing can help to ensure that the nutrients are absorbed into the soil and reach the roots of your plants. Consider using a moisture meter. A moisture meter can help you determine when it's time to water your plants by measuring the moisture level of the soil. Consider using a moisture meter. A moisture meter can help you determine when it's time to water your plants by measuring the moisture level of the soil. This can help to prevent overwatering and underwatering, and ensure that your plants receive the right amount of water. Adjust watering based on plant growth. As your plants grow, their watering needs may change. Adjust your watering schedule accordingly to ensure that your plants receive the right amount of water throughout their growth cycle. Use a watering schedule. Creating a watering schedule can help you stay organized and ensure that your plants receive the right amount of water.